But I wanted to get back to the Trump Bux, man. We missed the whole drama.
So
what's going on in Congress and the Democrats?
The Senate eventually hashed out an agreement. Yes. But a lot of the Democrats were freaking out because there's a large provision for a bailout of certain large corporations.
Corporations, yes.
Again, yeah. So it's like,
but I mean, hold on. On that point, and this is what a lot of people are missing, right? So the Republicans present their bailout plan, and it's like I don't know how many. It's $1 trillion, and 500 goes to like individuals, and 500 goes to like corporations, and 50 billion of that is like for the airlines and stuff like that. Okay, great. The Democrats spin around and they scream foul. This is, bailing out Wall Street and, rich billionaires and millionaires and,
2008 all over again.
And crony capitalism and friends of the president and the president is evil and all this shit, right? And they present a $2 trillion stimulus package. But you know what was not absent from that second bill?
What?
All of the fucking money that they claimed was going to all those corporations that the Republicans were putting in. They didn't take any of that out, right? They didn't go in and say, well, right, we're going to cut this 500 million that's going to the corporation.
Added whatever else
they just added what they wanted, right?
And then it went to the House. Then AOC and her crew were all freaking out again, which is hilarious.
But AOC had very unique issues. One, money to illegal immigrants. So those are ITIN payers. I don't know what that actually stands for, but it's where you have a tax number and you pay taxes, but you're not a citizen sometimes. Sometimes you're on a visa. Sometimes it's a different thing. But that's how a lot of illegals end up kind of paying into the system and they get access to a lot of charities. So she wanted money for illegals. And then I think the second thing she wanted was like foreign corporations to be able to get access to like the Trump Bux for some reason. Like, very, very bizarre. Like, she's completely lost her mind. I don't know if you saw her speech on the floor of the Congress. Obviously, she's a congresswoman, but I mean, she was ranting like a lunatic, with her hands spinning, and she was kind of doing like a little child throwing a tantrum. In fact, it was so funny. Somebody actually put a clip. They cut her out, and they put her behind a bar, and they put like a drink shaker in her hands because she kept doing this. Like she was mixing drinks. It's brilliant.
I'm telling you, man, the memes during the times like these are hilarious.
Oh God, thank God for. I mean, I'm not a big poster on Facebook, but I've been flooding it with fucking great memes for the last I don't know how many days I've been in isolation.
Well, my way of kind of like posting memes. I mean, I'll post memes and such, but I try to keep it fairly more of a casting a wider net. So I like to just share a lot of Babylon Bee articles during this time.
Sure.
You see me do that. I'm just keep posting them and people kind of like, what? Like, because even people who, if you're subscribed or liking their stuff, you're not going to see all of it. Like sometimes they'll repost one from a while back or just the way it is. And because I share so many of them, like the Facebook algorithm actually favors to show me more of their stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like they had the whole thing with Snopes about being fake news and all this stuff. And, they obviously went to town with those jokes. And Facebook doesn't give a shit about really Babylon Bee.
No.
Surprisingly. They just let them like, oh, you liked a lot of their stuff. You share a lot of their stuff. You're a top fan. So I see more of their stuff. And I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to share this one. I'm going to share that one. And it's ones that I find interesting. Like they get a couple that are like kind of reaching or some that are a little odd. Couple of them are a little more niche audience stuff. Like you'll find some like, one that only like a Christian kid would get. Like they have like some funny, like they had one that was
Are we doing a meme review?
No. So I mean, there was one that was like a while back. It was Kirk Cameron wants to create a like Christian cinematic movie universe or something, and it was showing
kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it was like a MCU kind of thing.
Oh, MCU. Okay, yeah.
So it was like they had like VeggieTales, and they had some really old ones like VeggieTales. They had Bible Man, which I've never seen, but I've heard of. Like,
oh, I remember that from TBN.
Yeah, I mean, you get a lot of like really reaching old stuff that like those of you that are like really in the church would get, and then it's just the way they painted the poster, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, holy shit! Like they get some really, really like ones that you got to like know your shit to get.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So yeah, so I like a lot of their stuff. I think one was the recent one was Democrats outraged that the stimulus bill could actually stimulate the economy.
Oh no, some of them are so very, very clever. I completely understand why you'd share those.
Oh yeah, it's better than The Onion in a lot of ways, because The Onion, yeah, I mean, they get good ones every now and then, but The Onion isn't really as relevant as it used to be.
No. I mean, The Onion had some weird, strange stories. I don't think they delved into the politics as much. I don't remember ever really sharing too many stories from
they were more of the absurd side of things rather than the more relevant like commentary.
Correct.
Like I saw a video. Okay. I shared it with a friend and he got a real kick out of it, but it was like you couldn't make anything near this today. Yeah. There was this whole video of this woman. She went on like some sort of, obviously it's all spin-offs of everything. So it's like some morning, like Good Morning America talk show like knockoff thing. Right. She's on there and she's talking about like how to properly deal with stress and anger. And she says, I just imagine all my stress and anger is like focused into this one, like kind of like avatar, this sort of symbol thing. And she's talking about it. She goes, and I actually drew a picture of it. So she shares this picture, and it's the fucking like the Jew meme, the rubbing hands of the merchant, the whole thing.
Oh no.
And she's just like, I just imagine all my anger, all my frustrations with the world are like right into this thing. She didn't call it any like, and it was just, they just kept going with it. She just imagine and just be really angry. And I'm like,
we really are in the 1920s again.
And I'm sitting here, I'm watching this, and I was like, you could not make, I mean, it's on YouTube still.
Wow.
And it's on YouTube. It's on The Onion's YouTube page. But I mean, it's from like 10, 12 years ago or something, back in the early days of YouTube when The Onion put all sorts of shit out there. And I'm like, oh, yeah, good thing there. So they definitely get their edgier ones, or they had like just some really dark ones. Like they interview a kid who bravely defended his house from an intruder.
Okay.
And then as they interview the kid, he's basically telling them how like they're like, oh my gosh, our son, he just, he's a really, one of those very special children. He's very quiet and all this, and we never heard him laugh before. But this man broke into our house, and all we could hear was our son laughing as he was just fighting this guy. And then you see the kid is like covered in blood.
Oh no.
He was like, oh, he was just having so much fun, and he was just defending us, and basically the kid like mutilated this guy.
Oh no. Like he's a monster, And
it's on like a family friendly Good Morning America kind of show, and it's just like brave child.
Yeah, you don't get them like that anymore. That's no. Definitely.
But I like the ones they've done. They kind of touch on a couple more relevant ones, like. They had one where this news anchor was like, and now our breaking news, some shit that's happening in some neighborhood. And it was just the whole video was just them like full blown, not holding back, just commentary on how the news does things. Right. I'm an expert that is probably never ever going to be on the news except for this one specific bullshit that's happening in the world.
Telling the truth in media. What a concept,
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Do you think that this could head towards a legitimate like depression?
Yes.